Hello to all the Atlanta United fans. My name is Jurgen Damm, and you are watching Scarves and Spike, an Atlanta United podcast.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Scarves and Spikes. It is Wednesday, and it is January 29th. We are very close to transfer window things happening, but
maybe.
Tom,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. What's up, y'all?
Well, there's a chance. We are recording this live, like you said, on Wednesday, January 29th, and things are going to start happening. Friday is, like you said, transfer window opens in MLS, and it closes in Europe on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Someone keep me honest.
That sounds
If I'm full of BS, let me know. It wouldn't be the first time you've done that.
There's no contradictions here at all.
Never.
No, appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, Brett, hard hats, they're not in yet. They're not in yet.
Why are you wearing
I didn't even know you were wearing it. I didn't even notice.
Why are you wearing a hard hat?
So
Paint the picture for us.
This is my souvenir, I guess, from the Home Depot / US Soccer.
Yeah, you were at the new training ground, the US Training Center, the other day, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I have an article up on the website. So if y'all haven't, go check it out. I did a quick little video as well that took forever to get uploaded because today has not gone the way that I expected it to go. But also, quick little it was like a 5-minute update video. So if y'all get a minute, just go check that out after the show.
Where is the website, by the way, Tyler?
That is a good question. It is scarvesandspikes.com. And
scarvesandspikes.com? That's our website?
It's not like it's super hard to find. No, scarvesandspikes.com. And I'll also throw this out there. Go ahead and get this out of the way in the beginning. We're going to keep saying this for probably a couple weeks. Go to your podcatcher of choice, even if you do not listen to us via audio after the fact. But go to your podcatcher, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. Type in Scarves and Spikes and Atlanta United Podcast.
Yes.
And subscribe. And when you do, take yourself a screenshot and tag us on social media with it, and that will enter you into a chance to win a $25 MLS gift card.
That way you can offset the cost of a new Atlanta United kit when it comes out.
There you go. That easy.
Right, Tommy?
That is right. This guy go to advertising school in a week? He's look at him. He's like, but where, Tyler? Where can we find the website? I'm like, was I supposed to do this too? I didn't.
They're called segues.
You just came in like
you
a pro.
You can do it. You can do it too. No one's stopping you.
Look, I've been real busy right now. I've been on the internet trying to find out what's real and not real about Latte coming over. I talked to my sister-in-law who knows her boss's babysitter who has Twitter, who saw that someone with 400 followers, I'm calling it Twitter, I'm not calling it X, 400 followers said that he's coming. That was retweeted by an account with 100,000 accounts. Oh, man, I hate this time of the year. I hate everything. I hate transfer season. I hate preseason. We'll get to that later. I just hate everything about this time of the year. Get me to February 22nd. Just let me, when Green Day says, wake me up before September ends, wake me up on February 21st so I can pack my bags, get on the flight February 22nd, and we don't have to talk about any of that. We can just talk about the opening game. That's all I want.
You have a rant, don't you, coming up, right?
Well, I guess right now it's just I'm sick of this whole season already. I don't know what I'm going to wake up to on Twitter. I took an hour nap before this, and I had 75 mentions. People were tweeting and liking the 400 account thing. People are yelling at me saying, "Why are you retweeting this?" Well, no, I'll retweet anything at this point. If someone just 2 followers that says, "I saw Latte at Starbucks, and
Getting a
he said
latte.
he's coming. You're getting a retweet from me at this point, man. Like, I don't know what's real.
Was it on X or Blue Sky, by the way? You say tweet. Was it an X or Blue Sky? You have to specify.
Well, what is it? It was on Twitter.
Well,
We are on
or
Blue Sky.
whatever.
But thanks for mentioning, Sydney. We are on Blue Sky. So
Well, it's
follow
on Blue
us
Sky.
follow us on Blue Sky.
And Threads.
This is all
Is
true.
Thread's still a thing?
It's
It's
there.
still a thing. We're on
It's there.
Threads as
Okay.
well. Follow us on Threads.
Follow us everywhere. Just follow
We're
us
everywhere.
Let's
Instagram,
bring MySpace back
Facebook.
already.
Yeah. And you know where else you can go?
Where?
Patreon.com/scarves and spikes.
Yes, that's true.
Get yourself some other content. Come join in the Discord with us. Hang out. It's quite busy, quite fun. Having a lot of good conversation in there. Edgar, what's up? Out in LA. I'm so glad you guys are finally getting some rain.
Yes.
I am not in the Royal Rumble. I have a back of an 80-year-old.
You'll
All
be
right,
both, my
I
friend.
gotta draw a quick swap. There we go. All right.
So, guys, guess what?
Oh no,
Guess
that
what?
was a hard hat.
What, Sydney?
Thank you, Tommy. Miguel Marone. It's happening. I feel like Friday is the day, right? It's going to happen. $13.6 million deal, according to, not Tom Bogert, but according to reliable sources on social media. I don't have it in front of me. I should, because it looks bad when I'm not prepared for the show when I should be. But yeah, it looks like $13.6 million, and that includes add-ons. That's from Anthony Joseph, by the way, from Sky Sports News. $8 million pounds transfer fee plus $3 million pound add-on, so that equates to $13.6 million US. Deal looks about done. I feel like Friday, Miguel Marone, guys, will be officially back at Atlanta United. Exciting times.
Yeah, so it's the 6-year anniversary of him going to Newcastle on Friday. Is that what I read?
Of him,
I think so.
joining
Or
Newcastle.
close to it.
Okay.
Close
Nice
to
little
it.
anniversary. Look, this is something I'm going to overreact to, right? Like, I saw a couple of people going, oh, he's 6 years older. He's going to be able to do this. This is exciting. Again, not overreacting to, if we see him in the preseason, he doesn't do anything, right? But I am going to overreact to this. This is exciting, right? Like, this is, people were always, even though it's only been a couple years, bring Joseph back. Like, Almiron, I just never thought this was going to happen, right? And last summer we were hearing Charlotte, and then we were seeing Charlotte again, and like everybody, like, even though we were like, well, who knows how he's going to be, but we are all kind of just like inside, right? Our inside voice was going, damn it, why is Charlotte getting him? If anybody needs to bring him back, it's us, and we're bringing him back, right?
The OG Atlanta United.
Right, and he's probably going to finish his career here, right? It's a very good chance that this is it.
4-year deal,
Yeah, like he's going to be here throughout his career, and if he's got a little bit more time with them, I wouldn't be shocked if they added on, right, and keep him there. But this is exciting, you bring a guy back. It's your reboot of this team, right? We've been talking about it. We've been having these small reboots for the past couple of years, just trying to get by while the cap is opening up, and you're getting a new manager in, you're getting a new general manager in. But this is the full reboot, and what the best way to start a full reboot is by bringing back one of your best players,
one of the original characters.
And one of the main characters, right? It's, where it's not just one of the players. We're not putting Jeff Larentowicz in a time machine and bringing him back here. You're bringing back one of the biggest players here. But I tell you, if we trade at the trade deadline for Joseph, because we need a backup striker for something, oh man.
Tyler's still convinced that Almiron is going to be top 3 winger in the most winger.
I'm not convinced.
No.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Don't jinx it.
I'm not jinxing anything. I'm just discussing the narrative.
Parkhurst, I liked what Parkhurst drops. Seeing that picture, seeing the new kit. Which, by the way, I don't like the little triangle here.
You don't.
I don't like the little triangle. Like I want to just perfectly get one little chest hair in that little triangle and like have it curly like Superman's lock.
What?
Just there. I'm Italian. Like that's the things that I think of. I'm like, oh, like can I just get one little curl right there in that little triangle there?
You do a custom kit with that, by the way.
Yeah. But it looks, people were saying it's too similar to the last one. There's not a lot of gold in it.
So
Look,
what?
it's not complicated. There's a lot of kits this year I think that are just straight garbage. But I think this one, it's not crazy. It's not crazy different, right? Sometimes teams just be different to be different, and I don't like that. But I will say, I don't have the picture, and the Columbus Crew are doing a Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I don't
kit.
like it.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh! I was so nice to you and talking.
I know you do. I know you
things
do.
are. I was so nice to you to start the show. I was like, oh, I'll follow your bit, even
Well,
though you didn't
I know
follow
you
my
like
sequel
it.
bit last week.
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you read Goosebump books?
I did. I did.
You did?
Tyler, did you read Goosebumps growing up?
I sure did.
Do you like the crew kit real quick?
I like it. It's.
You like
I mean,
it?
I like it because it's different enough to be like. I don't know. It has meaning, like, or at least it has some intentionality behind it. I feel like everybody's just doing some weird version of like camo nowadays, or it looks like somebody just threw paint at a shirt. And said,
so bad.
Yeah.
At least this one.
Yeah, it's like Seattle's Bruce Lee kit. Like Bruce Lee, very connected to Seattle. So I guess it's kind of like that, but I don't know.
It's like Nashville's Johnny Cash.
Nashville's Johnny Cash kit.
It was all just. It was just a black kit. That was all it was.
Or the LA weed kit.
No,
I like the kit though. I do, and I mean, I think it's one of those where you had the great kit in the beginning, and then we kind of strayed a little bit. Like the multiple stripe kit was pretty good, but then we went to the pinstripes, and everybody's like, "Okay, we're done with this."
Is that the Sith jersey?
Huh?
Is that the Sith jersey we're talking about?
Sith jersey.
Sith? Like people are calling it the Sith. All black with the three. The Sith,
all,
like Star Wars.
No, I got
Star
that.
Wars,
no, Sith is.
I've never heard it referred to as the Sith.
Let's not talk about it. We're not talking about where is he Star Wars.
No. I've just heard it called the pinstripe kit.
Oh, I called it the Sith.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But no, and then so they kind of reverted back to the original ways with the most recent one, and then now they're kind of just making small changes instead of doing something way out of left field, which I like. I'm good with it. The fight, like Atlanta has a look, right? And you can keep that look and change a few things and still make it look good. And seeing Almiron on the back of it is really good. And then seeing Miggy comment and say, "Hey, Captain," on that Instagram post was pretty cool.
I would love to see. I know we've seen Parkhurst there numerous times at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Tyler, you and I got a chance to talk to him before one match of the press box before he hit the Golden Spike. I would love to see him. I mean, I know he's involved with Rhode Island FC. He's involved in Ohio. I assume he still lives over there. I'd love to see him back in ambassadorial role. I know some clubs have that, but it's good to see Parkhurst. It's good, still connected, obviously. We don't hear too much about Lorenowitz. We don't hear, or from Lorenzo, I should say, and other players, but it's good to see like Parker still connected. But kind of starting back to Almiron, we kind of joke about top 3, top 5, top 10 wingers. I think the big question is, and we've mentioned this, so don't let us tread over the ground we've already talked about. Where do you fit him? Where do you put him? Obviously on the wing, I'm sure. How does he and Miranchuk combine? How will he help that attack? And I think if those two are able to build that chemistry with whoever the striker is, and we'll talk about that here in a second, this team can be very good. So with all the jokes about where he ranks, I don't know if he really needs to rank in top 5, top 10. I think he just needs to be a consistent contributor. You have another really strong contributor, Saba, on the other wing that, he plays for the kit every single match. I mean, you don't have to question his effort. And with Almiron, you don't have to question his effort, I don't think. You won't need to question his effort every time he steps on the field. It's the same with when he was here the first time. It was the same with Newcastle. He's going to bring 100% every single match. I think that leadership role, too, he can play is going to be very valuable to the entire team, really.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, and don't forget Saba in this equation as well.
Yeah.
Like being able to, I mean, when this team was flying a couple years ago, it was everyone, right? It was Silva, it was Saba, Yankamakis, Almada. Like here, now it's Miranchuk, Latte, Saba, Almiron. Like that's the 4 that you're going to build around there, and it's just how quick can they mesh together? Can Saba, Saba last year, he was way underperforming, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he should have scored way more goals. His XG
Yeah.
was up there, but the goals weren't. Just taking some of the pressure off of him, right? Because there was a lot of pressure on him, especially right after everybody got moved out in the summer, right? It was basically all on him, and that's a rough thing to ask for a guy like him. So you're getting more pieces around him. So does he improve? And I think the answer is probably yes. I think he will. So that's exciting, right? And you got a new manager coming in. What is this offense going to look like? That's really what we want to know here. And we're not going to know that. These preseason games coming up, we might see a little bit here, though, some signs. But until we see what happens on February 22nd, we're not going to know. But the whole league is going to know. Montreal is going to know.
Yeah,
February 22nd.
You mentioned how the attack's going to look, and Sleesh had a quote about it. I know we'll talk about Birmingham a little bit later on. Sleesh had a quote about how Dial wants the team to look on the field, more compact, always pushing forward, always looking to find space. And I'll expand on that a little bit later on. But you mentioned Latte Lath, whoever they bring on striker. And I don't know if we want to pivot to what the latest is about Cabral, Latte Lath, or if we want to wait on that. But there's a lot of noise around who might be coming in, whether it's Cabral, whether it's Latte Lath. Tom Bogert saying it's an $18 million bid for Cabral. That'll be an MLS record. So I don't know if we want to pivot to that or
yeah, that's what I was about to segue to.
Well, we got all this over here with the Lath and the tweet. We might as well just talk about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and TJR saying so that was the tweet that we were going to kind of talk about. So let's kind of go through it really quick. At this point, Atlanta essentially is looking at. I'm sure they're looking at more, but publicly, what we've heard, what we've seen, everything else, you have the 2 big rumors flying, which is still Emmanuel Latte Lath and Arthur Cabral. To catch everybody up really quick, Latte Lath has been obviously the subject for a long time. Isaac Kubotora is signing as our latest DP. And Tommy left. So Latte Lath, as y'all know, he's been the main subject, it seems, for it seems like a month now. Atlanta put out a really good offer for him, and it's just
record
kind of
offer
set around. Like just set around, and
for weeks it seems like.
Yeah, it's forever. And at one point you had people saying, well, Latte Lath doesn't want the move, and then Tom saying that's not true, and then people think maybe this is Burrow trying to wait for a Premier League offer, which doesn't seem to be happening, and maybe they're being a little stingy, and maybe it's just coming down to little small details that everybody can't agree upon. So anyway, you have that. They're taking forever. It's been stalled for like over a week, and then Atlanta comes out and puts out a legitimate bid for Arthur Cabral at Benfica. $18 million bid, according to Tom. And
Cabral didn't play, or wasn't in the 11 for Benfica against Juve in Champions League. So maybe that a little bit twist in the tail as far as Cabral's concerned. Maybe it's Benfica, maybe hearing from Atlanta United, hey, hold him out. We don't want him injured like Latte Lath was against Preston North End. So
and
definitely maybe a twist in the tail there.
Yeah, and I think like at the end of the day, like these are 2 valid offers. Like right, like this Arthur Cabral option is a legitimate option, but it does have the added benefit of maybe poking Burrow to say like, dude, we're gonna move on if you don't like. I think somebody said it on Soccer Down Here this morning, but like take a dump or get off the pot. Essentially, like let's go, let's make it happen.
Well, just real quick, I mean, Garth said, I'll correct the record on Cabral. He was shown a red card in that wild 5-4 loss to Barcelona the previous match day, so he was suspended anyway. But Garth said, we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, and if you wait for one option, you're going to lose out. There's a chance you lose out, and then you're going to be left with nobody, and then you're going to have to make a panic signing, which you never want to do. I feel like Atlanta have done in the past. They've waited, and then they've had to just settle. But looks like that's the case. They're maybe and Burrow and have every right to say, hey, we're going to hold out. I mean, he's still their player. He's still under their control. Latte Lath is. So they have every right to just maybe leave it to the end and say, hey, we're going to wait for the best offer to come in for our player. It's the same for Cabral with Benfica. Benfica is well within their right to wait. I mean, but again, transfer window closes in Europe on Monday. So we're going to get to the inflection point pretty soon. But I mean, you laid it out pretty good about Latte Lath and then Tom Bogert reporting $18 million for Cabral.
But what you
again,
have
both
too,
MLS records.
With Burrow, I think that's so frustrating is, and I talked about it a little bit on Monday. And we kind of talked about it, but you're kind of getting a reputation now. It seems like it's not just Atlanta and Burrow that are paying attention to this transfer, right? Like it kind of sets you up as a club that might be a little difficult to deal with. And is it going to affect them? Like, is this going to cause a big problem going forward? No, but I think when you start to have an issue like this, it probably does raise a little bit of a red flag for potential future offers, right? Like potential deals, not just for Atlanta and Burrow, if that were to ever happen again, but other clubs looking to deal with Burrow because, Atlanta, as far as spending, one of the biggest clubs in MLS, Arthur's going to go drop the bags, right? If you're making it difficult for a club like that is literally laying out the red carpet for a player, then what is that going to mean when it comes to maybe a club that isn't quite as financially invested or can't do that? It's just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the way that the whole thing has gone down, but at the end of the day, if you get Latte Lath out of it, he's the best option, I think, then so be it.
And that's the question. Like, who's the best option? And Tali, I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry. But I guess who's the best option at this point? Is it Cabral? Is it Latte Lath? I feel like that's a matter of fan sentiment at this time. Latte Lath certainly has the better numbers at this point than Cabral does. So I feel like that drives some of the sentiment around who's better, or not necessarily who's better, but who would be a better fit in MLS, I think is the big question that we need to ask. And maybe what do you guys think? Latte Lath, Cabral? I mean, I'm leaning toward Latte Lath. I think, Tyler, you said Latte Lath, right?
Yeah. Sonny said Latte Lath. I see in the chat, Raphael says Cabral over Latte Lath. I mean, me personally, yeah. I think Latte Lath fits the vibe of what the team is trying to do in terms of like getting Miranchuk, a player that he can just hit, good long balls to, a guy that's going to get in behind center backs. He's going to make center backs really think twice about a lot of things. I just think he fits what Garth has publicly said he's trying to do. And that's not to say Cabral doesn't, but I mean, they're two different players. Like I see Cabral as more of like a Joseph Yakimakis type signing, a guy that's going to get in there. You get him the ball, he's going to finish it because his finishing rate is phenomenal. But I don't know that was Garth's and Henderson's first choice.
But he's trying, though. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But like, that's the thing. Like I see the tweets going, it's January 29th. Why haven't we signed someone? I mean, obviously you've been running into some interesting situations. MLS.com. Thanks, friends. Right. Like that ended up not working. That kills one. And then Latte Lath got hurt. Right. He felt something over the weekend. And so immediately people are going, oh, well, we can't sign him anymore. We didn't even know what was going on. Right. Maybe he's upset with the situation and maybe he felt something and had to go out. Like, you don't know, but that's the politics and the things that go on in soccer, right? Like players force themselves out. Was that something that happened? Maybe, we don't know, but they're trying, right? You've heard backups to backups to backups. So, someone was saying, oh, you're defending Garth Lagerwey, but like there's been a list of 5 names, like 4
thereabouts,
4 or 5 names that have been on there. And obviously you're going through this, and it's not February 15th at this point, right? It's not a week before the season starts. They're trying to get some win. You've heard legit people say that they put in actual offers for these players.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just throw it out there, throw 10 offers out and just wait to see which one comes in, right? Like,
You'll
they're
miss
trying
out.
their targets, and if they don't get they don't get the guys that they want. I'm sure there's still other players on that list. It's just they're not all out there, which is more than fine. So I'm not worried about this situation at all. It's going to get finished here, because then people are immediately jumping to, well, do we really need to sign a DP striker? And can we wait until the summer? That's not what they want, right? I mean, no offense to
No.
TRA. They want to bring in the 2 DP players, right? I know Garth said he's never signed 2 in one window, but he's trying his damnedest, right, to get these 2 guys in, right?
He never hired a coach before. That
right.
changed.
And hired a general manager, right? He's never able to hire a general manager because he was the general manager, right, over there.
Yeah.
So, like, he's doing things that he's never done before. And while he's trying to get the striker, he brings back a club legend. Like, I really don't know what else that you can ask for him at this moment. Again, January 29th, everyone. It's going to be okay. But make sure he gets in before the opener. Get that card.
Tyler, where would you rank Latte Lath or Cabral among strikers in MLS?
Number 1.
This is an ongoing bit.
Number 1. For that amount of money, you better be number 1.
No. No, and we joke about it, but I said it a few weeks ago, I'll say it again. If you bring a player in for $22 million, MLS record by far, or $18 million if it is Cabral, you better be good. I mean, you don't have time to, every player, guys, we know there's an adjustment period to a new country, a new league, new teammates, but you'd better be good. You better put in goals left and right. You'd better be a Golden Boot candidate, because that's my biggest worry. And that has been my biggest worry. Are Atlanta United overpaying a little bit relative to the kind of player? And of course, he plays in the UK. So, granted, it's the championship, but it's still the UK. So that's going to kind of drive the price up. But there's a sense of, are Atlanta United overpaying for a player like this when there are presumably options that are available in the league, even, that you could go after? So I feel like that's my biggest worry with Latte Lath. That'd be my biggest worry with Cabral. If you're paying record fee for a player, I mean, we've seen deals like this fall flat on their face. Bupensta is a big example. FC Cincinnati, absolute disaster. Atlanta can't afford to have that happen, to be set back again. Tommy, you mentioned the reboot. You don't want the reboot to get off the bad start.
You don't get ready by the mid-season finale, right? The mid-transfer window. You can't wait that
Right.
long. You need to start off good for the new manager, for this team, right? Like, you got to start off strong, because you got a lot of home games to start this season. A lot.
So, and this is where it gets interesting, right? Because we're talking about money. I see folks in the chat saying, because we've always said, with Arthur, with being an Atlanta United fan, at least you always have the luxury of not having to penny pinch. Not that it's like our money, but like, it's fun to talk about other people's money, but you don't have to right. You're not a club that is trying to balance, incoming and outgoing transfers and money and all that kind of stuff to the same degree that some do. Like, you just,
right. You're not RSL.
Yeah. So interestingly, I know it had been a few outlets had reported that I think there was a local outlet in Portugal that talked about Arthur Cabral not wanting to go to MLS.
Yeah.
So that's one wrinkle, interesting wrinkle. And then today, kind of going back to the tweet, this guy, Rafael Amato, who has,
we're making him famous.
I know. Who has, at this point, 480 followers. I'm pretty sure that was you, Tommy, that just followed him. He had 479 earlier. But he puts out a tweet, right? And it says exclusive. Agreement between Middlesbrough and Atlanta for the former Atalanta player Latte Lath. 27.8 million. Agreement also between the striker
27.8 euro
and Atlanta. Yeah, and that's going to be in euros. But he is a reporter apparently for Calcio Mercato, which is an Italian outlet that has 121,500 followers.
So is he legit then? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big publication, probably not the biggest publication in Italy, but really it's pretty big.
I mean, it's pretty big. And the fact that they retweeted what he said seems to give some credibility to it. But then you got to think, all right, we're talking about money. That amount, that price has jumped significantly since the more recent reporting, right? Is it going to be add-ons? Are they just trying to pay? Like, do they want him that bad? Like, where did this extra chunk of change come from?
It's $28.9 million US.
That would blow the incoming transfer fee.
Good Lord.
Out of the water.
This guy better win the Golden Boot if they're willing to pay that much.
That would be
good grief,
insane. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, and it, you know, go back to what we said earlier, right? There's something holding this thing up, whether it's Burrow being stingy, whether it's somebody not agreeing to some particular term, whatever. His agency, I guess, he is the only non-Italian or non-Serie A whatever player on it. So there's a lot of people saying, like, it sounds like maybe this agency's trying to pump something up and make a little bit of a name for themselves. Is that true? I don't know. I still think he's the guy. I still think it's going to happen.
We'll see.
I agree. I think it's him too.
But
they got a backup ready, right? But now they're saying Cabral doesn't want to come to MLS. That rumor's been flying around today. But again, don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Didn't who was it? Did it Barco didn't want to come to MLS? Was that what it said? Or I forget one of them. They're Barco.
Probably both. Right. Well, it's because someone with a Twitter account doesn't want him going to MLS because MLS ruins young careers. So they have an account and they just tweet it a million times and then someone catches on it. And I mean, we have an Atlanta United fan popular on Twitter that made a fake rumor that ended up on ESPN once. So you know who you are. You know who you are. I mean, that's the way the internet goes these days. Everybody could get a check mark, right? I mean, everyone could get those now. So it's not like you could just go by that anymore. But we'll see. I mean, it's exciting. But like you said, this should be wrapped up hopefully by next week. If not, then that's your time to worry, I think. If you don't hear anything but this time this week, if you don't hear something, then you're probably worrying. And they'll probably be worrying. And then they'll probably be overreacting.
I'll just say this real quick. Because I agree. I think it's okay to not have a deal done by the end of next week. I think if this deal or Cabral isn't done and you still haven't heard anything else at all, like another rumor or something, then yeah, that might be the moment where we're getting to, as Sir Alex Ferguson would say, squeaky bum time.
Well, it's got to be done by Monday though, right? 6 p.m. That's when the window closes.
Yeah, but they could sell though.
They can sell, but
yeah, if they didn't bring a backup in, is what you're saying, right? A backup for that player, because they can still sell after that time. But hard to get.
Yeah, they can't get anyone in. So
it's just it's a very, very interesting situation. And normally I like transfer season, but this one's irritated me. No, we've gotten Miggy out of it, which I do like a lot. This particular saga kind of has driven me crazy, and it's bothered me with whether it's Burrow, because, and I'll tell you this, and I said it this morning as well. If he gets here, if Latte Lath is the guy, or if Cabral's the guy, I want to know, and I want to ask, like, because fans are going to want to know, like, how dedicated are you?
Yeah.
Like, what was the issue that was holding this up? And he may not be able to say, I don't know, but you got to do something to put the fans' minds at ease to say, like, hey, no, like, it's not just about the money. It's not this, whatever. Like, I'm dedicated to Atlanta. I want to be here, but whatever. That's one of the questions I want to ask. And
well, you know how you do that.
No.
You know how to do that, though. Score goals. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And you smile while you score the goal.
Right.
Right. But like,
don't look like you're. don't look like you
you're
hate
miserable.
being there.
I'm just here to get paid. I'm not here for friends.
Right.
But like, I mean, it was the same thing. I mean, Atlanta United was playing hard to get with Miguel Almiron to send him to Newcastle, right? I mean, they were waiting till the exact, like, right at the end of that window, right? Because they were just trying to get a little bit more money. And then Almiron's agent got upset, right? And then he started talking trash about Atlanta United. Like, these things happen for sure. It's frustrating when you're on this side waiting for a player to come in. And before you knew Almiron was gone, right? Because they had to, right? You couldn't have Almiron, Pitti, Joseph, Barco, all of them on one team. So you knew that it was going to happen, right? So for us, it really wasn't that big of a worry. However, we already had our guy coming in. We already had Pitti coming in. So there wasn't a worry. Now it's situation a little bit different. We need our guy in here just to know that we're set for this season. And then the question then becomes, is he healthy? Right. I mean, that's still a big part of this. We haven't heard anything about, because they said he felt something right in his groin, I think. So is he going to be, if that is true, if it was legit, is he going to be able to be ready in a month? Or is it just take a week and a half off, travel here, get better, and then start practicing again? You don't know.
I guess that's the good news, though. I mean, if the transfer is completed, he has a few months to get ready. Obviously, he'll have to wait for his visa to get cleared so he can train and play a preseason. So maybe, and I'll say this too, I think the fact that we haven't heard anything about the injury is good news, because I think if it were more severe, we'd definitely hear something about it. So it does sound like just a knock, just a slight muscle thing, or it could, again, just be him saying, hey, I'm week, nod, leaving the club. So I don't want to get injured anymore. So
yeah,
Tyler's daughter, I'm sure, has input on it. Oh no!
She came in to talk. Apparently, you got hurt. She has a lot to say about Latte Lath. Apparently,
how many goals is Latte Lath going to score?
Say all of them.
16.
25.
No, I just bump.
Okay.
Well,
we'll get her thoughts later.
Well, I will say.
Oh.
The comment section's hot today.
Yeah.
I gotta say, bravo to everybody on here today.
Yes, thanks for
There's a lot.
Yes.
I do see there that Travis asked, I think it said it's his first home opener. What's to do? We might have an announcement here soon, maybe about us doing something for the home opener. So hopefully we'll get that all figured out here. But I'll be around. So even if we don't do anything, I'll meet you for drinks or
beer.
Yeah, or a hot chocolate or just chocolate milk, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Hot chocolate is a good choice. I don't know how cold it's going to be in February.
Oh man, I'll do anything to get away from this 20-degree weather here.
It's we got to 65 today in
Oh,
Atlanta.
oh baby, I'm bringing my swim trunks. If that's, I'll go in any pool with that. Well, I know that's not on our list here, and I know you guys talked about it on Monday, but let me just say, the whole U.S. Open Cup situation, Leagues Cup, all of that, I am just disappointed. Just disappointed in the league. I don't know how this is all figured out. If there is a way, jump in and tell me what it is. Did they flip a coin? Did you negotiate yourselves into some of these tournaments? Because there's some that are in multiple ones. There's some that are just in one. Very frustrating. As much as I hated not Leagues Cup. Well, no, I hated everything last season until the end. But the Open Cup and Leagues Cup, like I'd like to just be in the Open Cup. Like it's just old school. It's fun. You play some random teams. we're going to be better this year, so maybe we could actually win the thing. I don't know. It's just, I just it's annoying. It's very annoying, and I think that most people enjoy the U.S. Open Cup, except our friend Danny from the Battered Herons, who said he may or may not said he would have sacrificed his co-host Chris to get rid of the Open Cup completely.
Yeah.
Don't fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure his eyes have said that before. But I don't know. Like, you could just tell, like, a lot of people are really upset that aren't in the U.S. Open Cup. And then there's, the MLS next pro teams that are in it. It's like, come on, just get everyone in there.
I'm glad I was just going to say, I'm glad you brought this up, because that's in Kareem. I saw the comment in the chat. Go ahead, Sydney, because this was one of those I was like, oh, we didn't put this in the notes, but we need to talk about it.
We did talk about it Monday when the leaks occurred. Now it's official. So, yeah, just my sentiment is the same as Monday. Why not all three? I mean, why not both Leagues Cup? Why not U.S. Open Cup? Find a way to expand the rosters so you're not dealing with fixture congestion. I read an article from Jonathan Tannenwald in the Philadelphia Inquirer, interview with Nelson Rodriguez, who's over competition in MLS. And Nelson Rodriguez said, hey, you know what? There's some sentiment that there's a lot of fatigue around these tournaments from fans. So MLS sounds like they're going all in on Leagues Cup and willing to kind of sacrifice the U.S. Open Cup along with it. Good to see the teams in U.S. Open Cup are doubled, but still, I mean, it's not a perfect solution. Hopefully, again, the onus is on MLS to really fix this because, again, 2026 is coming around the corner. You don't want to be caught with your pants down when it comes to maximizing the sport and getting fans to care that otherwise wouldn't.
They don't care. It's not up to MLS, because if it was up to MLS, they'd just say, burn it down, burn the whole thing down. I mean, they don't say it, but they say it with their eyes. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. I don't think last season, I mean, you saw clubs coming out with or supporters groups coming out with tweets. They're not going to support Leagues Cup, and they're not going to they're not going to chant during Leagues Cup games and all of that. Like, it was a good response by the fans. I was very proud of just all the groups that were jumping in saying, I want our team in there, right? This is a tradition. Yeah. I think that with the Crew, I don't think the Crew were in it because they were one of the big ones that were real upset about it, and especially a team that the Crew that's been around since the start. Like, how are we not in this? This is weird. Yeah. But the league doesn't care. They care about the money that they're making, and Leagues Cup directly goes into their pockets. I mean, if you wanted, you could start a hell of a collab with Apple TV. I mean, the last few rounds were on Apple. You could try to find a way to keep this going for the good of the game, and they don't. And it's, no matter what we all do, unfortunately, or protest, it's just they're looking out for their pockets, and it's frustrating because we got this tournament, and I want to see what the changes are in this tournament. They're talking about a different schedule of how this is going to work. Let's see what ends up happening here. I'm just not overly excited about it.
Yeah, it sounds like Leagues Cup. It's going to be like midweek and weekend, so at least it'll be spread out. But again, why not both? Tyler, I'm sure you agree.
It irks me.
Are you going to rant?
I might. I think y'all know my feelings on the Open Cup, right? I love the freaking Open Cup. I love everything about the Open Cup. It is soccer in North America's only real heritage. It goes back so far, right? And I know some people don't care about that. I know some people don't care about the tradition. Admittedly, the way that it is being run, like, it doesn't do a lot for clubs because they don't make a lot of money off of it. So it is like a terrible business opportunity, right? But like, that's where U.S. Soccer has to get on board and make it worth it. It needs to have more money involved. It needs to have better, broadcasting. And there's so many things that need to happen to improve it. And I know that's not like a switch that you flip and make it happen overnight, but it has to be prioritized. And then, yeah, MLS has to open up. Like, if the complaints are always going to be about fixture congestion, then you need to open up the pocketbooks and let teams spend to get more talent
Yeah.
on their team so they can afford to, rest guys and sub guys in late, whatever. I
Yeah,
don't
we've had having this conversation for years.
I know, but I think
but it's adding up.
It
It's
is.
getting
Yeah.
worse every
Yeah.
year, right? Right?
It really
they
is.
tested the waters last year. They're like, let's take it out. Let's see what happens. A lot of fans complained. A ton of them did. And now, again, it's changed a little bit. And it's like, okay, Columbus Crew 2 are in this tournament. Why don't you just call it Columbus and just they throw out the Columbus 2 team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just stupid that they even had to specify which team is it. Like, look, it's all the crew, right? It's all the crew organization. You can put them out there in the Goosebump jersey. You can just put them out there in the plain yellow jersey, right? Whatever
the Charlie
you
Brown
want.
jersey.
Right. Put them out in the Charlie Brown jersey. Whatever you have, it's the Columbus Crew. Let them choose what players they put out there. If Atlanta wants to go in and start whoever they want, right? Start trialist number 30 to go play in this game, then let them start trialist number 30. It's just so
They've already
dumb.
been doing that though. Like,
yeah,
they can't manage both competitions, which falls on MLS again, the competition committee, to say, hey, Tyler, like you said, we got to open things up. We got to add more opportunities for players to get on the roster. Maybe expand it for 25, whatever it is, to 35 match day rosters. And again, I've mentioned this before, the CBA is coming up to expire, not next year, but in a few years. I mentioned that's going to be a big talking point among the players. We play X amount of matches in the season. MLS, Leagues Cup, Open Cup, Playoffs, Champions Cup. That's 5 different competitions. I think I got them all.
Did you say Canadian Cup?
Canadian Cup is another.
Yeah.
Well, Canadian Cup for the Canadian teams.
Yeah.
Instead of this Open Cup. So that's 5 competitions at maximum you're playing in. You got to find a way to, if you want to go all in on this, and MLS should, they have to find a way to do what the UK is doing. I mean, they have like 20 cup competitions in the UK, but they have the rosters to accommodate that. They don't always do well in competition, so the bigger clubs get knocked out, but that's what people want to see. They want to see the minnows. They want to see those cup sets. So,
I wasn't a big fan of the gaslighting that kind of went on with like the way this was communicated.
What do you mean?
Because I guess it irritates me that you go back 2 years, right? And of course, COVID was weird right before that, but like every MLS team competed, every one of them. You made it work, and then there was the whole issue between MLS and US Soccer about the Open Cup. They came to the agreement last year where you had 8 teams in it. And Atlanta was one of those. And it's not just about Atlanta, but we were lucky that Atlanta was one of 8 out of 29 at the time teams.
It was our only chance to win a trophy.
Right. And
Right.
then this year they bump it up to 16 MLS teams, and then have the audacity to be like, this is a step in the right direction. We were in the right direction 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's what
it
bothers
is,
me.
but it isn't.
And then like the way that some of the stuff is worded,
The spin was incredible.
yeah, the 4 tournaments, Champions Cup, Leagues Cup, Open Cup, and Canadian Championship, provide important opportunities for clubs to compete for championships outside of MLS play. You think
You had your opportunity.
we had
already.
them before?
This is not new.
Like,
is not new.
right. Y'all are
It's lipstick on the pig.
yes. You're pissing on people and calling it rain. It's so irritating.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't like that. I don't like it. Just come out and say like we just don't want to do it. And
I mean, at least you're
making
being
an
honest.
I don't like it. It irks me, man. Whatever.
We got to get
That's
off this
Tyler's
topic.
rant.
We got to get off this
Exactly.
topic because the pro rel and for USA,
Right.
they've been in my
That's another
in my
topic.
DMs, in my bushes. They have been everywhere. I blink and they're
Showing
around
up
the
at
corner.
work.
Oh man. Oh, if you're pro rel for the United States, great. But man, I don't know.
You do
They're all
you.
just showing up everywhere on Twitter, and they
I don't know.
retweet everything.
I
Like,
don't know.
they retweet you.
It's
on
like a
everything.
cult.
It's deep. It's way deeper than what I thought it was. It's like,
I was
man,
at the U.S. Soccer Home Depot thing yesterday, and I put up the tweet and the article and stuff,
I saw that.
and I see hashtag ProRail for USA or whatever. I'm like,
it's like the bat signal.
right, like what the heck,
Trolls.
dude? We're talking about club soccer here, talking about international soccer.
The
Like,
$100 Patreon tier will open it up to a debate between a pro rel and an anti-pro rel. We'll work
in an
on that.
octagon.
Exactly.
well, sorry, this turned me bringing open a cup has turned us into like 20 minutes off schedule as usual. What I do, that's why I don't show up on Mondays much because I know it causes way more chaos than what's
So-
needed.
We'll talk about Birmingham then.
Let's talk about Birmingham. Atlanta is back this weekend. So let us know in the comments, by the way, if Milan. Let us know in the comments if y'all are going out there. We'll got to see a lot of y'all out in Chattanooga, which was awesome. So it's gonna be in Birmingham. Sydney, you'll be there. Henry will be there as well. So Tommy will be in
Grand
Ohio.
old time.
I was hanging out. You know what? It was a lot of fun. What I did, I only watched the first half. That's why I didn't show up on Monday. I fell asleep for the second half. I had a party to go to later, and I needed my old man nap before. But I hung out in the YouTube comment section, and we had a bunch of people that are normally in here, and it was a fun time. You know,
Well,
I'm
real
glad
quick, is this your rant?
No,
I'm setting up.
no, I'll get that after we talk about this game. But like, no, it was a lot of fun just talking to everybody on the YouTube stream there, and I'm glad it's on YouTube now, right? And so you could just watch it on there. You could talk to the other fans about it. It was nice that they have this, because remember years ago, I mean, we were having to like just hope that because the stream was on Atlanta United's website, then you'd click there. If you didn't live within a certain radius of Atlanta, you couldn't watch the game.
Yeah.
You had to get, a VPN and sneak around, right? Be Carmen San Diego and end up in Atlanta to be able to watch it. We had other ones. You remember there was that one preseason game, I think, where we had to watch it.
Twitter.
Oh yeah, there was
Twitter.
a Twitter one. Then we had the stream that didn't work, and then there were screenshots of Brad Guzan letting a goal in, and people were like, I can't believe Brad let that goal in.
Yeah.
And it was like a picture, and it was like a Nintendo, like original Nintendo like video of like a goal going in. So we have
Technology has evolved.
We have come so far to where you could go on to just YouTube, just open it up on your Xbox, open up on your whatever device, and just go in and chat with fans. So it was cool. So if you were in the chat, at least for that first half, it was fun chatting with y'all.
And yeah, it was a good match. You don't want to overreact, as we said, to one match. I do want to visit a quote from Bartek Schliech. He spoke to the media on Wednesday. They posted a video on LA United socials. But he talked about what Atlanta United, or what Dylan wants Atlanta United to be. More compact. He mentioned more possession. He said he wants the Dial wants the team to get forward more, fight space, and Dylan talked about it on Saturday. Just the amount of back passing. But one thing that Sleesh also said is it's different in the past. Training is different in the past. Dial is very focused on the details. I think, paraphrasing what he said. So it sounds like, and again, we talked about this. Old habits die hard, right? You're not going to just. We didn't expect the team to just wake up and be just a complete 180 from what it was for much of last season. You saw some good things against Chattanooga. You saw some bad things, certainly, and the onus was on the team to get back on the training ground and improve those bad things and get little by little better. Birmingham, again, it's that opportunity to, again, get better than you were. Try some new things. Maybe roll out more of what you want technically. We saw on Saturday, William Baugh, I don't think we mentioned it too much. We saw him drop back in the defense, sort of a three-man back line. Do we see more of that? Do we see Fortune filling that role? I'm interested to see what plays out in Birmingham. Earl obviously want to win because it's better to win. But more than anything, I want to see improvement. I want to see improvement from what happened in Chattanooga. Because, again, Tyler, like he said, sort of the bad habits of you go up and you let a couple of goals in right after, and it's demoralizing. Hopefully you get that out of your system and say, hey, let's win. Let's build new habits. Let's build healthy habits. And eventually it's going to become muscle memory, and you're going to really do it without thinking about it. That's the biggest thing I'm looking for against Birmingham, really.
Yeah. Well, I was just
Right.
gonna say, like, it's gonna start evolving, right? As you get towards, the end of the preseason, you'll start seeing maybe what the lineup looks like, right? One of the things I don't think I got to talk to you guys about is, they were talking about when preseason opened is like, we're running, we're running, we're running, we're running. Did you One thing that I was going to say about last year's team, and even before that, this team was very good at being able to put in last minute goals. Did you ever think that like endurance was ever an issue with this team over
Might
the
have been.
past couple of years? I see.
Might have been.
My
I
answer
don't
is
think
no.
so.
I didn't see it at all here. I just don't think I ever saw a problem because this team was so good at scoring that last minute goal, right? Keeping up at the end there. It was an interesting thing, that we're running a lot. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's just me, but I didn't notice like endurance being an issue in the 80th minute. All of a sudden, that's when we usually turned it on, right?
Yeah.
Too little, too late was kind of the mantra for Gonzalo Pineda's teams, right? It was like, oh, now they're starting to play in the 70th minute. Like we were, I felt like we were keeping up. We had better endurance than the other teams there. So it was just something interesting that I heard them say. And I was like, I don't know if that was ever a problem to begin
You
with.
gotta remember too. Atlanta has a new director of high performance as well. So like that
Good
sports
point.
science department, all that's kind of
Yeah.
changing, and maybe some of that comes from them as well. Maybe they just kind of Atlanta has, especially since COVID, been one of them and Columbus have been the probably most fit teams in terms of, now I'm not talking about injuries, but like just being able to keep that engine running for longer. And yeah, I think that there is something to that when you get into those late parts of the game and the other team's legs are way more tired than yours, that's when you can take advantage.
But it's a mindset too. Like
Yeah.
you want to see that all 90 minutes, not just at the end. And how many times last year, how many times in 2023, you're like, why doesn't this team just do it the whole match, right? Why don't they have that motivation to come out the entire match and put things to the sword and establish their dominance, especially at home, which we've talked about numerous times. And again, old habits die hard. Dyla is the kind of coach I feel like won't stand for, hey, half measures and just turn it on at the end. He's going to demand 90-minute efforts from all of his players or whoever takes the field. And I feel like if he doesn't get that, he's the kind of coach. Yeah, I want to go back to Pineda for a little bit. I read an article, an interview with him he did with John Arnold, who does a terrific job covering CONCACAF, especially Mexican soccer. But he said, essentially his mentality is that of a player's coach. Pineda's was. I feel like that was good in a way, but it was detrimental to the team because I feel like he coddled players to an extent. Dyla is not a coach who coddles players. He's a straight shooter. He'll tell it like it is. And if you're not putting up the effort, and he's mentioned this too, if you're not putting up the effort you need to win football games, you're not going to play. Doesn't matter how old you are, how long you've. Of course, if you're a DP, you're probably going to play. But if you're maybe a player that is not inked into the starting 11, maybe you're not a fringe player, but maybe you're a player that your position is kind of up in the air. You're not going to play, and that's a call for players like Muyimba, a call for players like Silva. We've mentioned them already to really step things up and improve and show that they have a place on this team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I think you kind of saw a little bit of it in Chattanooga with, on the sideline, you've got Ronnie Dyla standing there at moments and literally gesturing to the players, like, to play the ball forward, stop passing it back.
Yeah.
And then we get to the end of the game, and what does he say? Like, I was bored.
It's boring.
Like, I love the fact.
Amen, brother. Amen.
I know, like, that's so nice to hear. Like, but you can see it's not something that he just says, right? Like, if you watched him on the sideline, like, he's literally there, like, getting irritated because it's happening right in front of him, and he's telling him, like, stop. But yeah, I mean, I think with this, I want to see progression. Like, to that point, like, he says it, right? First preseason game, whatever, dude. Like, it is what it is. But
not a 7-0 result like you predicted.
It was not the 7-0 result. But this is where now I'm sure he's having the conversations to say, like, all right, we need to take everything that we didn't do well last Saturday and fix it and do it well against Birmingham. And admittedly, Birmingham is and this is nothing against Chattanooga at all because they're a phenomenal side. They are every
Yeah.
year, but Birmingham is a different beast, especially now.
Yeah.
Birmingham has brought in some very, very good talent. They typically are a very well-rounded team, but they brought in Danny Trejo, who, if you guys don't know, he's been around I think since like 2020.
Not the actor.
Personally. Huh? Yeah, not
Not
the
the
actor.
actor.
Not that guy. But he spent the past couple seasons over in Top Flight in Poland. So,
they're always a side that punches above their weight.
for sure.
Birmingham is. So it's going to be, a totally different challenge than Chattanooga was. Right, it's still friendly, but Birmingham, it means a lot to them. This is their biggest match outside of Open Cup.
Yep.
To, really show that, hey, we can hang with a MLS side, even though it's maybe not their first choice starting 11 for Atlanta United.
Yeah.
Chattanooga won. They're going to do the same. Birmingham.
This is a guy that, he's had 39 goals and 18 assists and like 116 appearances or something. So like, including Poland, like Top Flight Poland. So it's like this guy's coming back over here. You're not dealing with trialists, right? You're not dealing with guys that, and again, no offense, that are just kind of names that are floating out there. Like some of these guys playing for Birmingham could be playing on MLS teams easily. Yeah. So I think you'll see if there are weaknesses in Atlanta United in the stuff that Dial is trying to implement. Birmingham will find them, which is good too, right? Because you need to be playing good talent to find out what you need to work on. But also, it's just a good test for individual Atlanta players. It's opportunities like y'all were talking about, like Silva, Muyumba, some of these guys that we know that talent's there. It's just something's happened. They got to get it back. This is an opportunity really for them to take that first step back into the proverbial starting 11. So we'll see.
Should be a fun match. It's going to be a fun match regardless. It's always good to get out to Birmingham. It's a great stadium, protected stadium, only a few years old. Right there downtown Birmingham. Beautiful city, by the way. Great city. Always fun to get out there.
Yep. I like it. It's like just a pretty area too. You have like the basketball stadium right next door. Like, so go ahead, Donnie. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say you have 4 preseason matches left, right? And obviously your guys, your DPs, depending on what the status is and how quick you can get in, are they going to be able to get in soon enough, right? Like in Brian's saying here, like, are we lowering expectations? Sad how far Atlanta United's fallen. Like, I don't think that's the case at all here. Like, before when you have like a team where all your guys are here, right, and they can play, that's something different, a little bit different than the situation you have here. But you got a new manager, right? You're trying to figure all this out. You got guys coming in here. You're trying different things. I'm not worrying about preseason match 2. I'm not worrying about preseason match 1. And you're always going to have some people that overreact to the first match and the second and the third. What you want to see is continuing to obviously get better, because someone put in earlier, the mixing and matching, right? Like being able to try to figure, who's going to start this half, and depending on how they end up, like it always seems like these preseason matches, they always do weird things. Like remember there was the one where it was like almost like 3 games that they had, like it's goofy things like that where they're just trying different things, get everyone an opportunity to play. They're not throwing out a starting lineup in this game here. They're gonna mix it and see what works, right? So and it's not really a rant that I had. It's just stop overreacting to the preseason, right? Like if someone's doing, not looking good in week 1, if you're getting to week 4 and he still looks bad, then absolutely that you have to worry here. But also, like, these probably aren't the guys that are going to be starting next to these guys. If you see some individual performances, great, right? Like Luke Brennan, I thought looked great. He had a couple great moments on the ball. Who was the left back in the first half?
Dom Chankwi.
Yeah, like I was very impressed by him for sure. Now, do I have expectations that he's going to get a lot of playing time this season? No, but now I know the name and I know what he can provide, right? And Jason and Mike did a very good job explaining, what the strengths of him were. I really enjoyed that. it's just, come on, guys. It's, you know that you're not going to have your optimal lineup, and I understand. It's Birmingham, which is a lower half, but we lost in the Open Cup
Yeah,
to a lower level, right? And that was with
a much
some
better lower level side too.
right, and with also, we didn't have all our DP players there, but we still had some really good players there. But it's just, I look at it from week to week to week and say, are you improving? If they're not
Yeah.
improving and they're getting worse,
It's a
that's
problem.
when I'm going to start worrying here. But again, like, they're just trying different things, and every manager does it different. We're obviously learning, right? We saw what they did in week 1. Now, what do they decide to do week 2 and week 3? Gray yelling me, I don't read his article.
Called
Sometimes
out.
Gray.
Called out.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, just let them grow, right? And then if we get to, was it is Dallas the last one? I think
Yeah.
Dallas
Yeah.
is the last preseason game. If it still looks like crap, then that's when I'm starting to worry.
So are you saying? So we're not saying 7-0 on Saturday or anything like that?
No, hey, 7-0.
I need sticking with the 7-0.
I need chemistry, cohesion, discipline. I want to see those things for real, and I want to see 7 goals.
Would you prefer that these games that you just start the younger players in one half and then start the more roster players there, or do you like the way that he did it on Saturday?
I like the way he did it, because at the end of the day, if these players, and this is where I kind of go back to the maybe overreacting side a little bit, because I don't care. Like, you're all part of the same team, and yes, you need the time to build the chemistry, but the starting 11 should be able to play and implement the same exact stuff, tactics, everything else, that the prime starting 11 should be able to implement. Because if you can't do that, when you have subs in the middle of a game, in the middle of a season, then the chemistry is going to be thrown off. Like, they all need to be on the same page. So yeah, I mean, Miranchuk needs to be
better
playing dimes to, random trialist number 45 or whatever. Like, Gregerson needs to be able to work really well right alongside Efrain Morales. Luke Brennan needs to be able to fight for that spot over Silva and probably Miggy. But like, they all have to have chemistry. So yeah, start the hodgepodge group of guys. They have to learn. They have to learn each other. They have to get on the same page now. You can't do this thing in the middle of the season where the excuses are, well, we didn't have a prime starting 11. Like, no, you need to be able to do this with what you got, because you have talent. And that's where I don't like losing to lower division sides, but it happens. It is what it is. And yes, it is the first game. So whatever.
I'm looking forward to it though.
I'm in Inter Miami. I'm in the Battered Herons Discord. I got tagged quite a few times about that loss on Saturday. I wake up, I'm like, why am I getting tagged in the Battered Herons? What is this, November? And then I'm like, that's what you got. I go, well, your team lost to this team last year.
Right.
So I don't know what you're trying to prove here at all here. I look at the preseason schedule, right? Like, you have after Birmingham, it's a 7-day, it's a week difference when you go play New England. Then after that, it's 4 days. You got Cincinnati, and then 3 days you have Dallas.
Wait for Orlando too. Don't forget Orlando.
Oh,
it's
where's
not on
that
the list, but it's not on there. But Dallas said they're going to play Orlando and down to Bradenton.
I mean, that's a lot in there, but I mean, it's good. I mean, you're going to get some younger players that are going to get some time here, right? And I don't know. I enjoy watching it to a point, and then you take a nap in the second half, and that's a little bit nice. When I woke up, I was like, oh, because like, you can't go back on their YouTube and watch it. Like, it's gone.
It's a bummer.
And I did not know that, and I was like, oh man, I didn't do my homework. Are Sydney and Tyler going to know I didn't watch the second half?
Well, we do now.
Yeah, right. That's why I didn't show up for MLS Monday. I didn't do my homework. I called off sick. But yeah, I mean, just see how they improve. Don't overreact to anything. And I mean, February 22nd, there's no excuses, right? I mean, see, as soon as I say February 22nd, here comes Sonny in there with it. It's like you don't know. You don't know what you're going to see. But then that's when the pressure's on the entire organization, the front office for getting all the right guys in, the manager getting this team together. It's going to be exciting. And now that we know that Sunday night soccer on MLS is a thing now, right? Who's going to sing,
Big
right? So,
stuff.
all right, Carrie Underwood, right, sings it. Who are they going to get? It's not Taylor Swift, all right?
Bad Bunny.
Oh,
Pitbull.
Hey,
I'm a Bad Bunny fan.
Dale.
He's a hell of a wrestler. He was in that Bullet Train movie.
Mr. Worldwide.
Ooh, yeah, he does everything. But yeah, who are they going to get to sing that? They better have. If they don't have a really cool opening like Sunday Night Football, you can't just call it Sunday Night whatever MLS and not have a cool intro. I'm excited, and
I
we're
think they
on it,
will.
I think twice. I think at least twice. Miami and Cincinnati.
Miami's going to be the banger. And Cincinnati, too. But, yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited too. So I think Jordan on Twitter asked me to have AI make like a Sunday night soccer theme, kind of like the Carrie Underwood thing for Sunday Night Football. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Like I didn't even share it. It was so bad, dude.
Share it for $100 Patreon tier.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can hear AI sing a really weird country song about Sunday night soccer.
Country.
Yeah, it came out as country.
You didn't do Latin?
No, I actually intentionally didn't even tell it to do a genre. I let it pick the genre. I was
You gotta go
I wanted to be
Latin next
modeled
time.
after Sunday Night Football, which is probably why it went country. But maybe I'll try another one. I'll tell it to do like a reggaeton or something. Maybe make it a little more.
Next time.
Yeah,
Next
we'll
time.
see. But it was bad. It was very bad.
One last shout out, because first off, I know I mentioned earlier, but thank you to everyone in the chat today. It's been a lot of fun having everyone in here, and I like that the chat's here to the side. It was weird at first, but I like that it's on the stream and everything. We could have that, but also shout out because I'm a wrestling nerd. And WWE was in Atlanta on Monday and Tuesday for Raw and NXT, and I saw quite a few Atlanta United kits out there on both
Oh, did
shows.
you?
So yeah, so if
Good
you were
stuff.
there and you were wearing it, representing, shout out to you.
We need them to be wearing Scars and Spikes gear, though.
Yeah,
Which you
what,
can get at scarsandspikes.com.
This is true.
Are we ever going to show them the other logo? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to bring that up or not, but the other logo is kind of cool. We'll show it to you at some point. I don't know.
We'll get it on some merch.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
We'll get it on
some
merch.
It's the cold medicine.
It's our alt logo.
Like the NHL has alt logos.
Well,
yeah.
It's a shoulder patch. Well, not a
Yeah,
shoulder patch, but you'll see it.
Yeah.
I designed it,
So the goal of Saturday is don't let whatever happens in this game, if they win 8-0 or 9-0, whatever Tyler said, make it your whole weekend, right? There's not minutes, there's no NFL on. Just make it your whole weekend. Yell at everybody about they won. But if they lose, don't let it ruin your Sunday. Don't let it ruin your Saturday night. You go do whatever you want to do on there and not talk about the game. We'll talk about it on Monday. You can vent to us on Monday, but don't let it ruin your weekend.
Exactly.
Yes.
Look at Jack's got our Scarves and Spikes stickers on his wall.
Thanks, Jack.
Get
a shirt.
London. In London.
Yes.
We're international.
Get a shirt, Jack.
Yeah. That shipping across the Atlantic was awful.
Right. That's the caveat.
Yeah.
That's the caveat. Buy your merch, by the way, guys. Scarsandspikes.com. Buy your merch. T-shirts, hats, etc.
I see Emilio put in here, Garth needs to sit in the corner and run things and speak to the public. I want to hear a little bit more from Henderson. I wouldn't mind him. I know that it's probably going to be Garth that continues to be on 92.9 and all that, but I'd like to hear a little bit more from him. If you'd like to come on Scarves and Spikes, I'd love to have a chat with the man and have a chat with the chef himself and see what he's cooking. But look, he's getting this team pumped, and Darren Eales, look, he did the same thing. We can't complain. I know he said we were back last summer and we weren't back, but he wasn't lying. We ended up being the number one team in the playoffs. So you can't say he lied because we ended up knocking them out there. But I mean, he's doing what his job is, and it's getting people pumped up for the opener for the season. And I think we all are, especially on Friday.
I'm pumped up.
when that tweet hits, right when that teaser hits, whatever they're going to do, and they better step their game up. And I know because they've been doing a really good job here, right? Even though they did such a good job that MLS.com ruined a signing for us. They did such a good job. They fooled MLS.com. But I'm ready for Friday. I'm ready to wake up. I'm gonna sleep in my kit. I'm gonna wake up and first thing I'm gonna do is gonna go to Twitter, refresh. They didn't tweet anything. I'm gonna swear. I'm gonna tweet Happy 5 Straight Friday to all those who celebrate with a couple winks, maybe a number 10 in there, and then just keep refreshing every 4.5 minutes to make sure that I don't miss it, and then let it hit. Let's see the video. Is he gonna go like this? What's he gonna do? I don't know, but like that's it. It's like Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
And go to scarpsandspike.com for all the coverage. Miggy signing, what it means for the club, Birmingham coverage. By the way, like and subscribe on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Look for Scarves and Spikes on Landing Yard Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Subscribe on Patreon, the whole 9 yards.
And when you do the audio, make sure you take a screenshot.
Yes.
Tag us. Yes. Get entered into the chance to win the $25 gift card. And I'll end with this really quick too, just because I saw something that popped up and in the chat about Rodney Dyla.
Was it about the homegrowns, by the way, the younger players?
Yes.
Is that where you're going to go on?
Yeah.
Is this where Barry was yelling at me?
Oh no, not that one. No, I think it was Shannon Sharp that asked.
Not the Shannon.
The Shannon Sharp?
No.
No. But no, he, I interviewed him before the season started, and then I actually asked him the question at the end of the Chattanooga game about the young players, and I asked him like, what stood out to you? Who impressed you? What impressed you? Whatever. He specifically mentioned, Luke Brennan as one of the young guys. And in the before the season actually started, before the preseason started, the whole interview, when I chatted with him, he had a lot of good things to say about his ability to take the young talent like that, the homegrowns, the guys that are coming up through the academy, the pipeline, the twos, everything else, and turn them into, first team players. That's kind of his thing. He used a lot of pretty big name examples like Martin Odegaard is one. So
Long story short, the younger players he values.
Yes, but I'm doing the long version of it. So, no, he enjoys like that's part of what he prides himself on. But he's not going to go get his hands completely involved. Like it's not his job to coach the twos, right? It's not his job to coach the academy, but he keeps an eye on them and he values them. And yeah, that's his stance on it. So
yeah,
don't be concerned about the homegrowns under Dyla. It'll be good for them.
Did Frank DeBoer even know there was a twos?
That's a good question. It didn't seem like there was. Well, I don't know. That was when Miles
he didn't know what
Robinson,
MLS stood for, guys. He didn't even know what the initials of the league probably.
multiple listing service.
Whatever. He never watched MLS a day in his life before he came here.
Hey, he made Miles Robinson. He'll always have that.
And he pissed everyone else off besides him.
Right.
All right, y'all. Anything else?
No.
It's a long pause.
I know.
No. Just thinking. I did watch Transformers 2 the other day and thought of Sydney, so hit the music.
Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for thinking of me.
No problem.
It's been real.
How did they stop making, like they stopped the Transform, or they kept making them, but you didn't have what's her face that was in it?
Megan Fox,
right? Like you just stop and then you just reboot it and you get rid of oh man, I'm terrible with names. Shia LaBeouf. Like I know he had a mental breakdown, but then I don't know.
How many did they have?
Those first two movies were cinema.
Oh, the first
cinema.
one was chain.
The best thing about is Linkin Park. Like now it's just like whenever like you see something at the end, it's like if you hear Linkin Park at the end, you're like, all right. Like if you see a meteor like coming towards Earth, I'm just gonna crank Linkin Park, and then when it hits, like that's the end. Like that's my perfect end of the world. And then
You can play In the End?
produced by or directed by Michael Bay, and that's how the end of the world happens. It's just how the end of Tommy happens. If I'm on my deathbed, just play Linkin Park at the end. Even though I don't like Linkin Park, but I'll just say it was due to my love for Transformers.
Sacrilegious, by the way.
Yeah, they're whatever, man. All right, guys. Well, have a magical evening. We'll see you on Monday.
See ya.
Inter Miami's playing now? Dang, I didn't realize.
I didn't know Charlotte was playing this afternoon. Who plays in an afternoon on a Wednesday?
No.
Champions League.
Yeah, while Champions League is going on.
Yeah.
Right? Did you see the MLS tweet
Yes.
that I shared? Holy shit.
Yeah, that was weird.
They went hard in the paint for that one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, bravo, MLS, but wow. Check our Discord if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Edmund was on one.
Or just go to MLS and look up their tweets today. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye.